Hi, my friends, and a happy Friday the 13th to you. It's your tour guide to the horror side, me, Preston E. And please excuse my voice. I have been sneezing my head off lately as I got the achoo allergy, so I don't sound as sexy as normal, but we will carry on. On this video, we will have a quick look at the final chapter of the Strangers franchise in Strangers Chapter 3. Now, even though this is called the Strangers Chapter 3, it is actually the 5th movie in the whole franchise. Nice and confusing, huh? The original Strangers came out in 2008 with Liv Tyler and Scott Speedman, and it wouldn't be for another 10 years till we saw a sequel in 2018's Strangers 2, Prey at Night, starring Bailee Madison as that film's final girl. Fast forward to 2024, where the franchise will get a reboot in a sense with a new final girl played by Madelaine Petsch of Riverdale fame. This would be directed by Renny Harlin, who looked to expand the original film's universe with backstories to the three strangers. This will continue with 2025 with Chapter 2, and finally now with 2026 with Chapter 3 in theaters as we speak. And that's what I'm here to discuss. Madelaine Petsch's character, Maya, has been through hell and back with our three not-so-friendly neighborhood masked fiends over the course of these movies, and the poor girl is worse for wear. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Chapter 2 yet, I'll wait for you to hop off now. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy spoiler alert. When we last left our red-headed heroine, she got through killing off Pinup Girl and hiding from Scarecrow, a.k.a. the murderer formerly known as Man in Mask, and his partner in crime, Dollface, who discovered their deceased fellow desperado's body, Pinup Girl. We open Chapter 3 with our feisty blood-streaked Ginger hiding in the woods after watching the masked maniacs discover Pinup Girl's body. This was preceded by a hotel scene years earlier of another woman who sorta looks like Maya checking into a motel by Shelley, a.k.a. Pinup Girl, who later killed the woman named Claire by dragging her from her hotel room number 24 and taking her to their hidden underground lair. This movie does a great deal of time hopping too, as we get further backstories of a teenage Greg, aka Scarecrow, and a teenage Shelley, aka Pinup Girl, as they meet a teenage Jasmine, who would later become Dollface, who they realize is as a twisted of a nipple as both of them are, and our terror of trio is them born to be a burden to society. Doesn't it just warm your heart? We also get further details and backstories of Greg's dad, the crooked and twisted sheriff of Venus. What eventually ensues is Maya being once again captured by Scarecrow and Dollface, who knocks her out, tattoos her with a stranger's signature smiley face tattoo, and tries to get her to join them as a replacement partner in crime by forcing her into Pinup Girl's mask off of their fallen friend Shelley and trying to force her to become a killer like them. Got all that? Alright, I'm going to stop yapping about the plot right there in case you wish to see how it all unfolds for yourself. I'll from here forward only discuss my thoughts on the final chapter of this trilogy of terror. But before I do that, I'll mention that there is future plans to edit all three of these Renny Harlin flicks together with an intermission. And with all three running roughly 90 minutes apiece, that'll be about 4.5 hours of Strangers. Sort of like Gone with the Wind with mass murdering maniacs. Madeline Patch as Maya is the real heavy hitter of these movies, as she is in this final chapter as well. She runs the gambit of emotions with ease as she goes from damsel in distress to scared and bruised but not broken final girl who fights for survival. What these three movies set out to do is to give a backstory to these three masked, maniacal, marauding murderers, say that 5 times fast, and give us an insight of their broken and twisted psyches, and as to why they become what they become. While I do appreciate them exploring this different territory, I do prefer the original Two Strangers approach of not knowing who or why these killers are, and I found that more menacing personally. I would also highly recommend you see Strangers Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 if you haven't already before you dive into Chapter 3, this final chapter. However, Strangers from 2008 and Prey at Night from 2018 are standalone movies from these three movies. While those two movies are not necessary viewing needed going into these movies, I do highly recommend watching them as they keep the Strangers shrouded in mystery. The original movie with Liv Tyler especially gives the nice claustrophobic feel of keeping the movie minimalistic in both cast and set. This latest chapter is an expansion of the Masked Strangers universe and is a 3-part prequel to what Liv Tyler's character and others would eventually endure. I still prefer the original movie's straightforward unknown strangers mass menace over giving the characters a backstory, but the backstory does add a more human and interesting emotional element to the menaces behind the mask, though sometimes it can be a bit convoluted. So what do you think, and which do you prefer? Let me know in the comments section down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I gotta go. Probably sneeze my head off some more.